What's up, sneaker people? It's your boy FB Kicks and Gear, and I am back with another video. And this time we are looking at the Jordan 1 Low Travis Scott Golfs. And I can't make this a traditional legit check guide because one, I don't have an authentic pair of the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low Golfs, and two, they haven't released yet. I'm not even sure if they are going to release. So the real purposes of this video is for us to kind of speculate and do that kind of stuff. And if this is going to come out, is it a viable option for you? If you have something like these Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low reverse Mochas, is it a good enough substitute? Are they similar in quality? What's the differences, that kind of thing. So that's all I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to kind of compare them and see if this is a viable option, because this is arguably, probably, most definitely, almost most definitely at least, going to be the last time we see a Jordan 1 Low Travis Scott collab, and it's pretty interesting. So I figured, let me pull out my authentic reverse Mochas, because that's the closest, in my opinion, to what these are. And if these are going for $500, $600 when they release, they actually might be an option to fill in the blank for these, because these will be a lot cheaper and these are going for like $1,200. So with that said, that's what we're gonna do. That's the purpose of this video. And you guys can tell me, would you wear quote unquote golf shoes as a casual shoe? Or is the only option, the link for that Discord is in the description. Please join. And remember, if you want to see any more pictures of this shoe, the details, the features, all that good stuff, check the Instagram account on the page. You'll see all the pictures you need of this shoe, and you'll be able to use those pics for future legit checking purposes if these indeed do release. So with that said, let's get into it. So these came to me actually in the same box as the reverse Mochas. It's the same colorway in terms of the box. It's the same style. The only difference is the size tags. The size tag for the Golfs says Air Jordan 1 Low OG SP, and the colorway is neutral olive black sail. So obviously, even though it's the same box, it's a different color code and it's got its own SKU as well. So it is a different shoe. It does exist within Nike's ecosystem, just not officially or at a retail level release yet. So that's interesting. At this point, we don't even know if they're gonna have special packaging. So this just might be a placeholder that rep factories are using, which may or may not be a good legit checking indicator in the future, but that's the box that we have, and it's got the same white paper and all that other stuff. So other than that, nothing really to discuss when it comes to the box. There's nothing special about this. So let's get the boxes out of the way and let's start talking about the Golfs. So the Golfs are a new and old approach to the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low that we're used to seeing. Obviously, if you're familiar with Jordan 1 Low Golfs and Jordan 1 High Golfs for that matter, they are a golf version of the Jordan 1 Low, and they're essentially the same. I don't own any of the actual retail releases of the Jordan 1 Low Golf, even non-collab or collab. I don't own any of them. But from what I understand, there are a slightly retooled version of the Jordan 1 Low to allow for better use on the golf course. So what that looks like is you have this super exaggerated, altered version of the Jordan 1 Low outsole, where you have those ridges obviously that grab into grass and grab into turf to get you a little bit more traction. So, but there are many people that use the Jordan 1 Low Golf as a casual shoe. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that, mostly because the Jordan 1 Low Golf generally comes out in colorways that already exist or have existed in the Jordan 1 Low, and usually OG form. So for me, it almost feels like a teardown per se. But the difference between those and this is that this is a collab, and not only is it a collab, it is a collab with one of the most popular, most expensive, most hard to find Jordan 1 Low collabs. It's the Travis Scott collab. It's got the reverse swoosh in black. It's got the nubuck upper, just like the reverse Mochas, and it's got that nice mix of okay to premium-ish level materials. One of the things that I do love about the reverse Mochas is that nice tumbled leather that goes all around the shoe. It's soft in some places, it's sturdy in others, but it really gives the Jordan 1 Low a bit more of a quality, higher end type of feel. And the same thing goes for the Golf. Obviously you see that tumbled leather that goes around the shoe. It's very soft, and you can see that when I press it in. You got this, what we're very used to seeing now is this reverse swoosh, also with a nice piece of leather. Feels a little thinner than what I would expect from other Travis Scott Jordan 1 Lows, but remember, this is technically a different model. This isn't a Jordan 1 Low, a traditional Jordan 1 Low at least, but it's got those premium materials. Definitely nice nubuck. This is the same type of nubuck that the reverse Mochas have, and you can see it just in touching it. One thing that I am noticing about this shoe is that this is probably the first and only Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low that doesn't have an aged sole. This is a regular white sole, which is kind of weird to me considering that golf takes place on the grass, and these white soles are going to get torn up very, very, very easily if that's the purpose that they're being used for. So I wonder if this is intentional on the part of Jordan Brand and Travis Scott. Another thing that I did notice about these, in the same vein as the non-aged midsole, so the uppers of these are covered with a off-white sail leather, but then when you go to the medial side, you've got this white, plain white, bright white swoosh, which is interesting. When you look at the reverse Mocha, you see that the inside swoosh is the same color as the rest of the leather, and most Travis Scott Jordan 1 Lows share some aspect of color with the swoosh on the inside. But for whatever reason, maybe they're going for the white of the outsole, but it's different. It's something that I noticed. I don't know if on an eventual retail release, this leather would match this leather, or maybe I'm just trying too hard to compare it to the reverse Mochas, but that's just something that I noticed. One thing that I'm clearly seeing is that, like, just based on the inside here, the footbed of the Golf is definitely wider than the footbed of the reverse Mocha, and I feel like that's pretty easy to see from the opening here, and it's thinner padding as well. So you guys are gonna have to let me know, for those of you guys that have experience with the Golf model, whether or not that is something that is comparable to your standard Jordan 1. Maybe that's a video that I do at some point, a comparison between the Jordan 1 Low Golf model and the Jordan 1 Low traditional model, but that's something that I picked up. But everything else is the hallmark of a Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low. You've got the cactus jack here. Generally, in my size 11, you want to see some sort of engagement with the C and that stitch. And you can see that here on my reverse Mochas that it's the same. That stitch cuts off that C. When we compare the Wings logos, I get the feeling that the Wings logo is a little bit wider here on the Golf pair than it is on the reverse Mocha. I might be tripping, but kind of feels that way, but maybe it's just because of the color contrast. It's a little bit harder to see, but you can see that. Same business on the cactus jack on that tongue, but instead of the Nike Air, you get the full Jordan 1 Golf. Overall, do I think that these are a good fill-in for the reverse Mochas? I kind of want to say yes, a little bit. They're like a mix between the olives and the Mochas if they had a baby with lime green accents, but this is still in the same family. It's still very earth tone. The lime green might be something a little bit hard to coordinate and match around, but who say you have to play into the lime green, right? This is still predominantly a white and brown shoe, and it's super high quality. So I feel if the authentic version ever releases, there are definitely going to be a ton of people that go for it. It's gonna be one of those issues with selling out and bots and backdooring and everything, just like the regular Travis Scott Jordan 1 Lows, but more or less they do the same job. Another thing that I'm looking at here is maybe because of the size tag difference, you see that the stitching spacing is definitely different on the tongues, although the material is exactly the same. So little idiosyncrasies here and there. Another interesting thing that I see is that on my size tag here on the inside, you can see the Jumpman. It's kind of hiding a little bit. But when you look at the size tag here, one, it's not free hanging, and two, it's got a Nike swoosh. No mention of the Jordan brand or Jumpman on there. Not to say that the regular versions have a lot of Jordan branding or Jumpman branding, but just interesting seeing what those comparisons are. So I got a question for you guys. If these release and they cost $300 or $400 on the resale market, are you jumping for them, and are you going to wear them like casual shoes? Or are you going to use them for golf? Or are you going to say, fuck it, and not get them at all because they're not actually, you know, traditional Travis Scott Jordan 1s. They're not even traditional Jordan 1s. What are you guys doing? What are you saying? Would this bother you? Would this outsole bother you with the raised edges and everything like that? I don't necessarily think this would be too big of an issue, but with all of the Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows that I had, I don't think that I would get these to wear casually. I might get them for the novelty that they're golf shoes and maybe actually learn to play golf in them. But I still think this is a pretty dope shoe. I think it's a pretty dope colorway. Definitely not the best colorway in the Travis Scott Jordan 1 line. That for me is still probably the Fragments or the original pair. I think they're still pretty dope. Lots of good features on here. Lots of good high quality materials. What can I say? It's a Travis Scott Jordan 1 low golf shoe. So with that said, guys, that's it. That's all. I want your guys' opinion in the comments about how you feel about these shoes. Do these feel like they're real Travis Scott Jordan 1s? Obviously, these are not real. These are reps, but would you wear them? Would you use them? Write all of that in the comments. Actually, join the Discord and talk shit about it in the Discord server. So just remember, guys, you can find all the pictures you need of this shoe on the Instagram account that is on the screen, and do your research, study. Maybe we will be getting a retail release of these. We know it's going to be super limited, but hey, maybe we will get a retail release. So with all that said, guys, I will see you in the next one. Peace.